So earlier this year, we started the construction on a gigantic timber frame barn here on our farm. Most of the construction took place over the spring, and by the time we hit 4th of July, it seemed like most of the barn was built. But lately, I've been getting a lot of comments and questions from viewers about the barn, and why haven't I been talking about the barn lately? And so in today's video, I want to show you guys some of the progress that we've been making with our barn. But first, I've got to show you something kind of weird and interesting, because yeah, that is our barn. And yes, as you can see here, I'm actually standing in a trench that's dug right in front of our barn. And as you can see, Ginny Barn Cat is hopping around it, and there is this giant trench that starts over here and keeps running down through here. Keep going down and around and through here and through here and through here and further down. I don't know, Ginny, where am I gonna go? Let's keep going. We're keep going. We're gonna keep going. We're keeping going. We're keeping going. We're keeping going. I know, Ginny, it's so confusing what's going on here. But you look at this trench. This trench is something else. And look at this rock. Just a giant piece of granite right in front of our house. And the trench keeps going and the trench keeps going, and it actually stops right here. But later today, we're gonna try to dig it out so that it goes all the way to the utility pole. Because right now we're in the process of electrifying our barn. And you might ask, why does a gigantic timber frame barn need electricity? Well, the obvious answer is so that we can have little warm huts for our barn cats to live in. But yes, all yesterday, my buddy Alfred was over here digging this gigantic trench. Alfred's also still working on this retaining wall, which I'm gonna talk about in a little bit. But this trench is so that we can expand electrical service from the street into the barn, because we're actually making some significant changes to the farm, how we use electricity, how we warm our house, how we're gonna power our vehicles, and a whole heck of a lot of other stuff. But first, let's start with our chores. Aw, my poor little flashlight. Yes, Abby Dog is still a flashlight, but very soon she's going to be losing that. Actually, later today, she's gonna have the stitches removed from her forepaw, and when that happens, she can actually go back out to living on the farm full time. Over the last 2 weeks or so, she's actually been living inside our house, and despite the fact that she's a farm dog, she's actually been doing remarkably well. But I do know for a fact that her favorite place is to be out here and visiting with her pal, Mr. Toby Dog. Easy, Abby, easy. If anybody's wondering why Abby's cone is patched with duct tape and looks just an absolute mess, it's because she has this crazy habit of just plowing into doorways and gates at full speed, and she's cracked it several times. I know, girl, just like your sticker says, you are chaotic good. Meanwhile, Toby's checking out what's going on here. You guys might notice that the fence that used to surround my wife's garden is completely gone. That's actually right over here as well. I'm not gonna talk much about that today because that's a whole separate video about what's going on over there. But yes, both Toby Dog and Abby Dog are very confused by all the changes that are going on here, between the change in the garden fence as well as the gigantic trench. Toby's like, wait a minute, I just marked this territory yesterday and there was no dirt here. What's going on? All right, Toby, you're going back inside. I'll be back out for you in a minute. Abby Dog, come with me. I'm gonna bring you back inside too. She doesn't like this part, but I don't want her running around too much and ripping her sutures. She actually doesn't mind going inside. She just prefers to be outside. Inside, girl. We'll visit with you later. Yeah, and you'll also notice it's actually darker than it usually is when I shoot these videos. The sun's coming up later and later. Pretty soon we're gonna have daylight savings even. We're definitely in the depths of fall. Okay, Toby Dog, how are you, buddy? By the way, thank you to all of you folks who are writing these incredible reviews about our new book, Mr. Toby Dog. Well, I guess that's technically not the name of the book, but it's Toby Dog of Goldshaw Farm. Thank you for all these kind reviews. I got to admit, I never thought that the review score would stay this high, and so I think I owe a debt of gratitude to all of you folks. And if you haven't checked out the book, I'll leave a link for it down below. It makes for a great gift. Release the cluckin'! So in a recent video, a very astute viewer made a comment about this chicken right here. Let's see if I can catch him. They know I'm onto them, so they went back inside that way. But actually, you can see side by side. In a previous video, when I was talking about my chicken breeds, I noticed that, hey, I have these blue Cochins, and these two seem much lighter than this one. And I was thinking it was just like a genetic variance. But the viewer pointed out that probably what's going on is that's actually a rooster, which makes total sense because when I ordered from my friends over at Murray McMurray Hatchery, I got those 3 hens. So you go 1, 2, and 3. And those were the 3 blue Cochin hens that I ordered. But they always throw in a bonus free chick if you ask for it. And I'm pretty sure that that's what this one is right here, because all the other birds are accounted for. And I'm pretty sure if you actually look at its breed characteristics, including the comb as well as its coloring relative to the other Cochins that I have, I'm pretty sure it's a rooster. Probably 90% of the time when you get a free chick from a hatchery, it's gonna be a male. And I'm pretty sure he's gonna be a very beautiful bird. Rather than cull him, I'm gonna actually keep him around. And so I'll have 2 roosters in this young flock with both my American breast rooster, who you can see up there, and this guy. And when I integrate this flock of chickens with my chickens up on the top of the pasture, I'll ultimately have 3 roosters. But that's gonna be 3 roosters spread out a flock of nearly 40 chickens. As far as ratios go, that's a pretty good one. And I'm very curious to see what sort of babies he spawns as well. One of my big plans for next year's farming activities is to do a lot more chicken hatching than I did this year. And seeing what sort of cross breeds and varieties I can create is gonna be part of the fun. So yes, you'll have to stay tuned for that one. Also part of that experiment will be my weird chickens, who you see down here, where we have Bet and we have Mr. Frizzle, and I see Captain Janeway over there, and I can see Lavender Brown trying to lay an egg. Oh, and there's my gal Mama Rosie hanging out inside. Because yes, I fully intend to do a lot more weird chicken hatching next year as well. The big difference is gonna be that my full-size chickens are gonna probably be hatched in an incubator, and I'm gonna let the weird chickens do the hatching work for me. I might even slip a couple full-size chicken eggs under a broody weird chicken to see what I get. And if you really want to get freaky, I might also slip a duck egg or 2 under there as well. So yeah, some very big plans for next year. What's there, Toby? Something got your attention? Oh, I just found what's there. Holy smokes, we got quite the woodchuck hole right here. That's dangerous, huh, pal? You know, woodchucks are like one of the few animals that livestock guardian dogs don't seem to deter. The downside is we have woodchucks around the farm. Like, Toby will check on them. I'm pretty sure Abby killed one once, but they do come around the farm. And they do come in and create these little post holes here. They will also eat Allison's garden, but that won't really happen this time of year. But it's a huge problem in the late spring and into the summer. Good morning, ducks and geese. Yes, if you would have asked me, I don't know, even 3 weeks ago, I would have told you that by this time of the year, I would have brought my ducks and geese in and I would have them living down in the hoop coop. But it's been so unseasonably warm this fall. They're still out here doing their thing. I mean, I'm recording this today. It's 48 degrees Fahrenheit and it's raining. Definitely doesn't feel like winter just yet. Hey, Ron Swanson. Hey, gooses. Hey, Bruce the goose. I think they see me and they will start following me as soon as I head over here to where I feed them right now. Oh, would you look at that? Oh no. This is where the crows do their thing. This one's still intact. This one's been crowed. This one is still intact. So I got 2 intact duck eggs and it looks like 3 duck eggs the crows have gotten 2. That right there is the one downside to how I've been raising my ducks and geese this year. I got to come up with a solution for next year. Like, I know as soon as I move them into the hoop coop, I won't have this problem, but I still haven't moved them into the hoop coop yet. All right, birds, I'm getting you your water. Ron Swanson, don't try to cheat and get the food from everybody. There's enough food for all my birds. So today I have to move my heifer calves. I guess they're not really calves. They're nearly 1.5 years old. But they are still heifers because they haven't had calves of their own yet. I already strung the wire yesterday, so this should be pretty easy. Hey, Bonnie, Belinda, you want some fresh grass? Come on.
Hey, Kels, come on. Fresh grass, come on.
Uh-oh. I'm pretty sure Belinda Carlisle's in heat right now. That's why you saw Bonnie trying to mount her. That's why they're separate from all the other cattle. Because I'm pretty sure Macho Man could do the job over there. Into the new paddock. You got plenty of grass up here. They'll probably stay in this paddock for about a week before I keep moving them on. You can see, so that's right where they were, which is all brown and eaten up. The next row down is a little greener. The next row down after that, which is, I guess, about 3 weeks ago, is even greener. This is the dividing line between where they were for the last 5 days, as well as where they couldn't access. Just see how they eat it down, leave their poo, then move on to greener pastures. This will regrow and be regrazed next spring. Like, it'll probably be grazed by a baby bee and maybe a few friends, maybe even a few sheep too. Slop for the pigs. How are you doing, Piggly Wigglies? Whoa, easy, 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 easy. Whoa. Yes, the feeding process here is starting to get intense. I set my feeding infrastructure up for when they were like 100-pound pigs, not 300-pound pigs. How you doing there, cutie?
You enjoying that green? Got a little cracked corn I mixed in there for some extra sugar for you. Also, as we're starting to give up on the garden, they're getting all of the garden scraps as well. Like, for example, here's an old Brussels sprout stalk that they've been gnawing on since last night.
You know, a big part of the reason why I'm so into expanding my electrical infrastructure is because when it comes down to it in our farm right now, this right here is where we're getting all of the electricity for our farm. So I've made previous videos in the past talking about the electrical co-op that we joined with a few of our neighbors. All of the farm's electricity now comes from here, which means the cost per kilowatt hour is a lot cheaper, which means the infrastructure on the farm is going to continue to trend more and more towards electric.
So for example, I ride this e-bike
pretty much everywhere around the farm. I wouldn't be shocked that in the next couple of years I upgrade my current gas-powered UTV to be an electric UTV. In past winters, I've explored going with an electric snowmobile, and while I personally don't think they're quite ready for prime time yet, I bet you in the next decade my tractor becomes electric too. And also later this winter, we're going to be upgrading our house's boiler system. So we have flat panel radiators that heat most of the house on top of the wood stove that we use. And right now, the burner for that boiler is fired by propane. We're going to keep that propane boiler as a backup, but we will be adding an electric boiler as the primary, so that most of the energy that we're going to be using on the farm is coming from that solar field right behind the farm. You know, when I was making the plans to build the barn, the new barn that is, I thought about putting solar panels on there, but the business case for joining a solar co-op was just actually way better than trying to go it myself and go alone. Now it's much more about wiring and infrastructure for the farm to use that electricity versus just generate the electricity itself. And I have a real problem on my hands, folks.
It took pretty much all summer for it to happen, but it looks like one of my cattle has escaped the fencing. Macho Man, what are you doing, bro? As you can see, most of the cattle are actually up here, and they're up against the side of the perimeter fence as one of their borders right now. So this is where they've been for the last 24 hours or so. Right now, I only have the top wire electrified, and I don't have these lower wires electrified, only because the grass is getting so tall.
I worry about it shorting out.
But somehow my boy Macho Man actually snuck out. What are you doing, pal? Can you come with me?
I don't have his halter up here, but I do have a brush. See if I can coax him back into the paddock. Okay, I'm back.
Don't worry, Macho Man didn't wander too far. So right now I have two theories as to how or why he escaped, or maybe three theories. He probably saw that this grass was so nice and green and lush, and they'd eaten all the other grass, and he got a little ambitious to grab the best grass.
That is theory number one.
Theory number two is that maybe one of the cows was in heat and he was jostling with them, and things got a little heated and he got bumped out, because he's still a relatively small bull.
Theory number three, and I guess this is maybe like a sub-bullet on theory number two, but maybe he smelled Belinda Carlisle and the fact that she's in heat, and he tried to escape to try to get to her. And I guess theory number four, or three, depending on how you're counting,
could be that we had a lot of coyote activity last night, and so maybe that got him riled up and spooked out, and he jumped the fence over that. So I don't know. Regardless, I'm gonna try to coax him back in right now. Come on, Macho, let's go. You wanna come with me? Come on. Come on. I'm taking you back to your ladies. Come on. So yes, I have him halter trained. I admittedly haven't been doing it a lot this summer because it's harder to do it on the regular when he's on the pasture. I'll do it a lot more this winter when he's back in his area. But he's also really brush trained, so I don't even need to pull him necessarily most of the time. I can just kind of coax him with this brush. You'll actually notice his fur is way more clean and well maintained than everybody else in my herd, because I spend the most time doing this with him above all else. You like it right on the neck. I know that's your favorite part. Come on, pal.
Okay, this might take a little bit too long. I might have to go back and get the halter. Come on. Come on, Randy.
Good boy. Good boy.
All right, so now with the gate safely closed behind me and him inside the paddock, it becomes a lot less risky. Having only one of my cattle escape is actually not that big a deal, because they're herd animals. They will usually stick together. But if like all of them escaped, I would have a serious problem on my hands.
Hey, Randy, you were being such a good boy. Yeah. You know, the other little critter I got to worry about is this scamp right here. Baby B often likes to escape as well, so I got to be careful with her too. What I think I'm going to do here this morning is move my moo crew over to their next paddock,
and then try to bring Macho Man into here, because
because I don't want to open this up right now to let him in and have all of them go out this way. I want them to go that way. See, just like clockwork, these two decided to rejoin the herd. Everybody else is waiting for the fresh grass. I'm not going to make you guys wait any longer. Hey, Kels, fresh grass, come on. It's always interesting to see them clear out underneath the tree. You can see this is an old box elder that's been here, I don't know, maybe about 20 years ago, maybe 15 years it's old. They used to put like cinder blocks by it to protect it. You can see Macho Man now wants to rejoin. Hey, Macho Man, come here. We'll let him in with everybody else while the rest of the cattle are distracted by the grass. Come on, bully boy. Rejoin your herd. Come on, get it. Come on. You're inside. Hey, wait, where are you going, kid? There we go. All right, free to join the herd. Getting that halter off is always the hardest part. I don't know if anybody has any tips on how to get a halter off easily. That's some advice I could use. I should probably text my friend Janet about that. I actually wonder, maybe the reason Macho Man escaped because he and Joey Ramone were butting heads. These two are going to be back together in a bachelor pad this winter. So probably come mid or late November, I'm going to separate out Macho Man from the rest of the herd because hopefully all my cattle are bred at this point, and if they're not, I don't want them to be bred too late in the cycle. Yeah, both Joey and Macho Man will get separated, but I got to make sure that they don't try to fight each other too much either. Herd management is a delicate balance. How's my favorite cow, Ariel? Would you like a treat? There you go, girl. Baby Beak, would you like to try a treat? I'll take that as a no. So Macho Man specifically, but really all the cattle in general, seem to enjoy these trees so much and rubbing up against them. I'm gonna give them an extra day of access. I just ran a safety line here of fencing so that there's like a little bit of a moat between the perimeter fence and this polywire fence. So hopefully this will keep Macho Man from escaping again. The real solution I need to have here is I gotta do a better job next year of keeping my fence lines trimmed. You know, the likelihood is that Abby Dog's gonna be up here and she was escaping because I had the lower rungs of the fence turned off. And I'm also pretty sure that Macho Man would not have escaped if I had had the lower rungs turned off as well. I had actually ordered this piece of equipment. It's like a weed whacker that I can mount to my tractor, and it reaches underneath fence lines like this. And it's basically designed to keep grass off of electric fences. And it would be really, really handy and useful. But unfortunately, it's been on back order all summer, and so I don't have it, but I will hopefully have it for next year. And when I have that, I can actually just come through here like once a month and weed whack the whole fence line and probably do it in like an hour or two. I was trying at a certain point this summer to like weed whack the fence line and do like half an hour a day. And even then I wasn't able to keep up with all the grass growth. And so this solution on the tractor will be the better option. And then once that happens, I can re-electrify all the other levels of fencing and keep the cattle off of the fence. All right, baby V, let's try it one more time. You want a cookie? No, you're scared. But Ariel, she definitely knows what's up. There you go, girl. Yeah. Aw. Joey Ramone, don't get pushy. And we're back at the dig site. Okay, we're gonna feed the barn cats. Some for you, some for you. Ginny, hey, you already have your trough. Eat that one. That's Pablo's. Such a bossy boss. All right, so let me show you guys what's going on inside here. This is going to be the master control panel. So all the electricity is going to run in through here. Breaker is going to be here. We're going to eventually have some light switches here. Actually, just yesterday I put in this wall here so that there'd be something to mount all of this to, so it would be flush. Tried to do my best to like make it match. So this is actually part of the structure of the barn. This is just some shiplap I put up, and then I cut holes so that it didn't get interfering with any of the pegs or anything like that. Justin did such a nice job with the craftsmanship of the barn that as we're doing the electrical, one of my objectives is to like impact it as little as possible so that it just looks beautiful. So, but as the electrician team is working right now, you can see they're running conduit all through the barn. This conduit is going to be what carries the electricity to various points within the barn. Eventually there's going to be shop lights mounted to the floorboards in this area here, as well as all throughout here. At all of the major posts, I'm gonna also have electrical outlets so I can do what I need there. Yeah, it's a little bit messy, but I'm actually in the process of organizing and setting up a workshop and all of my tools over here. I think when all is said and done, I'm gonna finally find a way to contain my chaos, and it's gonna be in a fashion very similar to the way I set up my office, which surprisingly 8 months later is holding up really well. Over on this post here, we're gonna actually put 2 electric vehicle chargers. We currently only have one
electric vehicle on the farm, but like I said earlier, I anticipate to have a greater need in the future. And then coming down here, as you can see, they're starting to lay the piping and conduit for the electric, and so that electric's going to run right into there. You can see the meter box is going to be right here on the outside of the barn near the lumber racks, but it all just sort of snakes through here, runs down, and is going to go all the way down to the street. This entire trench that you see coming through here was something that Alfred was able to dig over the span of yesterday, and it looks really cool. We thought we were going to hit a lot of big rocks, but the reality was there was only one big boulder that Alfred hit.
My buddy Alfred, he lives on down the road. He's a wizard with machines, a genius in blue jeans. Let's stop and say hello.
So as you can see, there's that giant split granite, and right here is Alfred. I was like shocked that you were able to split that thing so easily yesterday.
I was too. Kind of had all my chips on the table. Some of the stone here doesn't split super well. I was kind of afraid I was gonna get my feathers and wedges stuck in the boulder, but it split right open.
We definitely should have been a rock farm, I feel like. So now the trench is gonna go all the way down to the street. Why haven't you kind of gone straight through, and it seems like you stopped here today at this point?
I stopped here because I'm not skilled enough of an excavator to be able to dig the entire trench in one go. At some point I'll need to straddle my ditch. It's easier to bury the conduit, get this backfilled, and then I can work from the pole back to this hole. Yeah, and then I don't need to straddle the ditch. And also it'll be less yard torn up in one go, which hopefully it'll assuage any concerns the homeowner may have.
This homeowner doesn't have any concerns. I mean, it might be the other homeowner who might have more concerns about that one. So like right here where I see these lines, this is where you were putting in the feathers yesterday. So you like drilled a hole and then you start to hammer them in basically?
Yeah, you know, I drilled about 25 holes, put in the feathers and wedges, and I just start tapping them, you know, each one incrementally, going back and forth, and, you know, forced a crack. And then once I had that crack, it was a matter of just kind of teasing the stone open. The half that I broke off is probably about 7K, maybe.
Oh, so then this is like an undetermined weight because you don't even know how far it goes back towards the house.
I bet this entire thing is a third of a blue whale, maybe 3 school buses. I don't know what the...
In the masonry world, you guys use blue whales in school buses as a typical unit of measurement?
We use anything but the metric system.
And now the other piece is over there. Is that going to go to Vermont Heritage Granite?
Yeah, I'm going to charge you to remove them. I'll split them up and I'll charge somebody else to buy them from me.
It's a pretty good business to be in.
Yeah.
If you guys want to check out Alfred's channel, you should go over there. And I'll be back with another video real soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.